Good morning, you bad motherfuckers. Welcome back to the Double Lung Bad. As always, the guillotine, munching on some chip beef gravy.
Oh, this shit's so good.
Daddy Rambo, and joining us from Salisbury, Maryland, the Hyman Smasher, Ryan Maitland.
Ladies and gentlemen, good to have you back.
Morning.
I gotta make a tradition of just clapping for myself every time.
Yes.
Yeah, just do it.
You know, gotta be your own fan.
Morning, fellas.
Good morning. Shout out to Sam. Your cream chip beef gravy is fucking out of this world.
To die for.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, I see you got your. Why don't we bring on that a special guest?
Yeah.
John made a one stick.
Yeah, go grab that for me there.
Dude, you did a really good job. It looks fucking fantastic. It looks a lot like the EWO one stick.
Yeah.
If you aren't watching on YouTube and you're listening, John basically took, what kind of stick was that, John?
An XOP stick.
So walk us through the modifications that you did and how'd you assemble this?
Well, I took an XOP stick, and I took the top step off and the top, what would you call this thing? Tree grabber thingy.
Yeah, the part that attaches, that bites into the tree.
Yeah, I took that off. And I went to West Marine, which is a local boating store, and got a cam cleat. And I drilled.
How much was that?
At West Marine, it was $44.
God damn,
Yeah.
salty.
Yeah. And
But those things, fuck.
yeah, dude. Yeah. I drilled out one of the holes that the Versa button was in, and I just drilled another hole, and that's right on there.
Hell yeah.
And then I went on EWO's website and got an AM steel for the cam cleat, AM steel rope. Then I went on EWO again and got the, what is this, the UP platform.
Yeah.
Just drilled first I cut off like 4 inches up here on the top of the stick, because if I was going to drill holes to put this on the top 4, the holes would be really close to the holes for the top step that was on there. I wasn't really like a fan of that. I didn't know how much structural integrity that would take out of the stick. So I just cut 4 inches off and just drilled into fresh aluminum.
So what did you use to cut a sawzall?
Grinder, the cutting wheel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just put a piece of tape around it to get a nice straight edge and
Nice.
put that on, put the platform on. Now, to put the platform on this XOP stick, it was a little wide. It wouldn't fit flush.
Ah.
So I just had to grind just ever so slightly a little bit off of the back. And drilled a couple holes and slapped that bad boy on, and now she's ready to rock, Daddy-o.
Yeah, I mean, that thing, it looks great.
Yeah.
It's very similar to mine. I mean, it's just about identical.
Yeah.
I think, what do you have in it all in all?
Platform is 130. Cam cleat's 40, so it's at 170.
170.
And AM steel is 25. So 195. Aider was like $15.
So 210.
210. And then the sticks themselves for 4 sticks, what are XOP, like $140?
Something like that.
Yeah. So for the price,
But that's something you already had.
Yeah. So for the price of 4 sticks and everything I got for the one stick, I'm at the same price-ish that you are for just one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's a sweet deal. And it's yours is just as good as mine is. I mean, mine looks nicer, but and mine might be a little lighter, but it's you did a good job. Looks good, man.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that weighs?
I don't. I gotta weigh it.
That would be cool just to know.
Yeah. I plan on taking it all apart and put a nice paint job on it.
Yeah.
Maybe some like some bed liner stuff, make it nice and grippy.
Ooh.
That's my plan.
See, that's I wouldn't do something like that because I'm like fucking lazy. But It would be cooler if you painted it.
Mm.
But yeah, like once I put that thing together, I'm not taking it back. I'd be like, fuck that.
That's only a couple
But
bolts.
you like to tinker with shit too, so yeah.
See, I feel like I'd be up in the tree the entire probably like first season, like wondering when the fall to my imminent death was gonna happen.
Scared to death?
I'd
Yeah.
be terrified.
Would you really?
Well,
you're not a very
handsy dude, so if I made one of those, I'd be a little.
I would be
scared.
terrified too. If you made one and gave it to me, I would be like, nah, dude.
I mean,
No way, bro.
It's even hard for me to trust like the platforms that you buy sometimes. 'Cause it's like, man, is this really gonna save my life if
Right.
something happens? But
That's the thing with like hunting, like climbing equipment. You're legit trusting your life or your ability to walk to this stuff.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it is not something you want to fuck around with.
no.
Like, but John, like you built that very well. I would have full confidence climbing with that thing. But there's some shady shit out there. Some people that should not be making their own shit.
It's like how often are people like? I feel like people are now just wearing like harnesses regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like
I mean, you still hear every year.
Oh, you still hear every year, but like it's a little bit more like known to not be an idiot. But even with like the saddle hunting equipment, like if you don't get good ropes, like you're literally trusting your life to a rope. You're just hanging back 25 feet up in a tree. I'd get some good ropes. Make sure you check your stuff, like check your equipment. I feel like especially with saddle hunting, like you got to make sure your equipment is dialed in, or like it didn't like catch on something, or you can be in some real trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, just in like the just like looking stuff up for stuff to buy, I've found out what a kilonewton is. Like a KN for the weight rating on climbing stuff.
Yep.
So
What is a kilonewton?
I think 1 kilonewton is like 1,200 pounds equivalent. I'm probably way off.
So like,
Let me look this up real quick.
so my ex-old lady was like 2 kilonewtons.
Okay, 1 kilonewton is 224 pounds. Pound force,
200 and what?
224.
Okay. So
And
you
then
want
it-
like
and then
a
it-
fucking 10 kilonewton.
Yeah. And then it doubles. So 2 is 449.
Right.
3 is 674. So it's just plus 224 for every.
Every kilonewton.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What kind of tether are you gonna use? Like what size?
For like my rappel rope.
Is it, for one stick you can use a traditional tether at the top, right?
Nah, you want to just use a rappel rope.
Really,
That rope is your
that's
tether.
all you're using.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like when I climb, I have my rappel rope, which is 40-foot length of CIV Canyon style rope, and that is my tether. I use it to climb the tree. I use it to tie off everything. The only other rope that I carry for fastening purposes, like adhering to the tree, is I'll carry a lineman's rope.
Do you carry that for like if you need to get around
around
a
a limb.
or something like that?
I'll hook into the lineman's, and then I'll unhook my rappel rope or my tether and go around the limbs. Yeah, and every once in a while I just do it, but I don't advise that. I you know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like, all right, I'm like 12 feet off the ground. I'm fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't always do it, but I know I should. But
that's what I need to do with my saddle more of this coming year. Is even with it last year, I was looking for almost like climber trees. Like if I saw a tree with like 3 limbs, and where I'm at, there's a lot of like straight trees. Like I know up here, there's a lot of differences with like the what would you call it? Like the variance in tree types and stuff.
okay,
But I thought there was like a term that you knew.
Different trees.
different trees.
Yeah, different trees. To where I'm at, it's like a lot of like loblolly, it's a lot of pines.
Right. Down there, you have like herbaceous wetland down
Oh.
there. And,
See, that's the word I was like, why didn't you pull that?
And you've got a lot of coniferous forest as well.
Hey.
See,
And
like an idiot.
Yeah. Fucking Isaac Newton over here.
So like it would be like I'd see a tree with like 3 limbs, and I'm like, nah, it's a pain in the ass when I'm just gonna go right over here. But I need to not be as lazy and actually like utilize the saddle for what it is.
I find myself the same way. Like because I've done with climber for so long, I'm looking for climber trees.
You're stuck in
like
that
sometimes
mindset.
I forget like I can climb these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, the down where Ryan is on the lower shore, it is there's a lot more conifers, there's a lot more pines, and the loblollies are great for climbing.
Yeah.
But
So I got 3/8 sterling static rope, and you weren't sure if you could climb with that or not, right?
Well, not that you could climb with it. I remember reading either you want static or you don't want static.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure, which is why I recommended to go with the one I got, because I at the time I researched it, but I don't remember which one you want.
Well, I know your rope is like water resistant, so it won't soak up water, but this static rope will.
Okay.
And they didn't have your canyon rope when I went to order a rope, so I just went with this. And this has a bigger braking strength than yours does.
Okay.
It's almost 6,000 pound braking strength on this.
So, I mean, you got to imagine if EWO is selling it, it's probably fine to use.
Well, this is on Cruiser, so it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if Cruiser's selling it, same deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's obviously okay. They're not going to sell a rope that's not good for saddle hunting. They're a fucking saddle hunting company.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't worry about it. Maybe mine is static. I don't remember. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But static refers to the way rope responds when you pull it taut.
I got you.
So, like, I believe, and I could have it backwards, but a static rope doesn't stretch.
Yeah.
And non-static rope, I guess, is a rope that it'll stretch when you pull it. So you don't want that when you rappel.
I got you.
You don't want the stretchiness in your rope. You want a rope that has no give.
Yeah, this is 9.5 millimeter diameter, low stretch.
Okay, yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, I got 40 feet of it, so we're ready to ride. The only thing I do need is the what the hell? The Dynamine rope to pull the Dynaglide to get the.
I have some. I told you I have some. You don't have to buy it.
Okay, well I didn't buy it yet anyway. So
mine is thin. I recommend a thicker rope, but I got some that's free if you want it. You know?
Yeah, take it, man.
Yeah, I got like 100 foot of it, and I only used 40, I think. So.
I'm fucking ready to.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I went up to REI last night. What is it? Recreational Equipment Incorporated or some shit to look for my rappelling device and a quick link. And online it said they had everything. I get up there, they had nothing. So
that's fucking irritating.
That's nice of them.
Does Cabela's carry that stuff?
No,
I don't think so.
I just ordered on Amazon. It'll all be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
I love Amazon.
It is convenient.
Yeah.
It is convenient. And you can get just about fucking anything. But yeah, I went to REI when I was setting my saddle up at one point, and I was looking at ropes there, and they had some decent ones, but they only had like the only rope that they had in the kind of rope that I wanted was blue. And deer see blue very well, and I was like, I don't want a fucking blue rope. I don't. It'd probably be fine, but I'm not gonna get a color that is vibrant blue.
Yeah.
As part of my hunting setup, it just didn't sit right with me. So
yeah, the dude there was like talking to me about carabiners, and I was like, oh yeah, dude, totally. I didn't want to tell him I was using this shit to kill animals, because that place seems a little
woke.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very. It is. Yes.
Yeah.
Gay.
Never step foot in an REI.
No.
Don't.
Never.
It's a cool store. It's fucking overpriced.
Yeah. Fuck. We were looking. Sam was looking at hoodies at like $50 fucking for a hoodie.
Yeah. Oh fuck. I mean, that's pretty standard.
Shish.
I mean, fucking everything's expensive now. But speaking of hoodies, I lost my Sika hoodie, so I fucking had to order another one.
Ouch.
Yeah. $150 later.
Ouch.
At least it's $220 online.
Oof.
So at least we get Ryan's got the hook up for us. Get a discount. But I like that hoodie so much that I was like, I'm not having that hoodie.
Yeah.
I need that.
Lost it.
You wear yours like casually.
Yes, yeah. I wear that hoodie like around town.
Yeah, you want motherfuckers to know.
Yeah, I'm flexing on these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like fucking. Like I got a Gucci belt on, you know what I mean?
See, my sick of stuff, like I've got that vest, the Jetstream vest, which is like a basic color. It's not camo. I'll wear that all the time. But I bought that to be like a piece that I can wear with anything. I used it for skiing a couple weeks ago. But my other sick of stuff, I only wear it when I'm hunting.
Yeah.
And it's not like I care about the center stuff, but it's like I feel like I got it for a very specific purpose. So I'm like, I just leave it for that.
I do most of the time too, but I will wear that hoodie and that vest every once in a while. Like sometimes I'll put just the vest on and a pair of Daisy Dukes, and I like to go out and shoot my bow like that.
God.
Yeah. Just to give you guys a good image.
Oh, it's a great image.
Yeah. And just it's streamlined.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Your neighbors are just like calling the cops.
Oh yeah, I mean, my neighbor's old lady's like knocking on my fucking door, dude. Like, it's tough, you know.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
The only thing I don't like about that hoodie, it's the Traverse hoodie, which used to be the Equinox hoodie. Is I notice I'm super sensitive to wind. Like it can be like a nice day, but if the wind's like consistently blowing, I get really chilly. And that hoodie is really expensive for something that doesn't have any wind protection.
Yeah.
Oofa.
Yeah, it has 0 wind protection. It's not, well, it's got a little bit, but very minimal. Yeah. It's not a windproof hoodie, which for me is a factor. Like I almost bought their other hoodie that is windproof, but I like the zipper. I like being able to zip it down, and I'll wear that vest underneath of it. Like, and I'm not, if it's fucking windy, I'm not hunting most of the time anyway.
Well, I'll get chilly even if it's like 9 mile an hour winds.
Yeah.
Like even if it's like a good wind, I just get cold.
Yeah. See, I don't have that issue. I hunt with that hoodie into the 50s. Yeah. And and even below sometimes I'll wear just that hoodie. I'll wear a base layer, the vest, and that hoodie last year, and I was pretty good down into the 40s.
That wind protection, like, it's no joke.
Yeah.
The wind stopper, like, with Sika stuff I learned, I'm sure like the early season stuff's great, but I feel like I can get the same stuff from Walmart essentially. For less than half the price.
Yeah.
But the rain gear and the wind stopper is stuff I will pay for, because like I'll wear that vest with like over top of a hoodie, and I'll just feel the wind everywhere, but just on my like where that vest covers, you don't feel it at all.
You feel none. Yeah.
It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
Like stuff that's gonna keep you dry, stuff that's going to protect you from the wind, and stuff that's going to keep you warm without having to look like the Michelin Man, I will pay for any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like early season, just give me a cheap mossy oak t-shirt.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of my mindset as well. I mean, like I got some pants for early season, some Sika pants. I think they're like the out west pants. They got knee pads and shit in them. And then, but for a shirt, like I just went online and bought it's called Bass Dash. BASSDASH. Is it?
Same one I have. It's almost like that First Light pattern. Got the face mask, the mesh face mask.
They had
one
mesh
on the side.
Yep, that's what I got. But they've got one that looks kind of like Sika's camo.
Really?
So I matched it up with that, and that way at least you gotta try to match. You know, I'm not. It's like fucking GQ out there in the woods, you know. Yeah. And I think that thing that's great. Like I don't plan to buy an early season shirt, but I wanted those pants because. Pants are almost like the most important part, because you're when you're early season, you're hiking, you got briars and brush, and like it's nice to have a good set of pants. It is. Yeah. So I got those, and
I would think that the pants though still are like, it's like having a Cadillac. Like it's nice to have, but you don't need it.
Yeah.
It's like those pants are great, but like if I only had a certain budget towards good hunting clothes, it's going all towards the late season.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah. Because honestly, you could get a pair of camo jeans from Walmart that for early season are going to perform just fine. Yeah. They're not going to breathe as well as the ones I got, you know what I mean? But I feel like it's not going to be the end of the world.
I feel like you'd be a little bit more uncomfortable just because they don't breathe as well. Yeah. And they have like the Sika pockets, they're like nice. Yeah. So it's got really good utility features. But man, when you're late season and you need to stay warm without having to move, like big difference. Like it's a difference when you staying out on a hunt most of the time. Mm-hmm. Early season, you just tough it out.
Yeah, exactly. Early season, it's fucking hot. I'm sweating my balls off. Late season, you get cold, dude. You're fucking done. You know, so it's a lot more important for sure.
I'm ready for deer season. What is it, March 19th? God damn it.
Damn it.
It's not even turkey season yet.
Yeah. Yeah, are you going to hunt some turkey this year, Ron?
I think I'm going to try. I think it's just every time you get around this time of year, you miss deer hunting so much that you're just like excited to get back in the woods.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try it, but I'm going to do a different strategy this year. So I've got like one piece of private that has turkeys on it that I can hunt, but I got to figure out if I'm allowed to use a shotgun there. It might be bow only, which would definitely be a lot harder. So I got to figure out the strategy for that. And then last year I was so burnt by all the pressure on public within like the first 3 or 4 days that I'm not doing the first week on public. I won't do it. But I noticed that when I went out late season, like I went out late season to scout for deer, and I'd see 5 or 6 turkeys.
Really?
Just out there.
Huh.
So, like, I think my biggest focus is going to be, like, late season turkey on public.
So, I know last year you were saying that there was a fuck ton of trucks and shit in the parking lot when you were hunting.
Yeah.
Are you saying that there's less people out there during night season too?
Yeah, way less. I feel like most people, they go out for the first week, and then they're done.
Yeah.
Or they'll come out here and there. But the later season, I didn't see any trucks. And like I was reading, I don't know how true it is. They're like the best days to hunt the properties are like for turkeys, like the first week and then the last week of the season are always the best.
Yeah. I've read that somewhere as well.
Yeah.
That the last week is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to do some turkey.
Fuck them turkeys.
It's just like,
It's not gonna go at all.
No, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I got to get one.
Yeah, like I want to get one, you know what I mean? But like I definitely don't get as excited about it as I do deer hunting.
No.
You know, just it's just different.
There's
It'd be cool to get one.
Fucking turkeys everywhere at work.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Fucking Gravy showed me a video he took of like 20 turkeys in a fucking flock.
Jesus.
And every day they fly past Senior. They fly right past and they fly over the pit. I'm like, man, I'm going to fucking bag one of these motherfuckers.
So, hell yeah. And now you got a bow hunt them there.
Got a bow on them.
Yeah. I think that's cool, though. I'd rather get one with my bow if I could. You know what I mean? But being that I haven't killed one, I'm going to use the shotgun.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to go. I'm not taking off work to go. Why the fuck does turkey season start on a goddamn Tuesday?
I don't know.
Does it?
Yeah. Like, you know.
The poor man's elk, I heard it called this week.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you can call to them and shit. Yeah. Okay. It's a stretch.
You can move.
It's a stretch.
Fucking elk.
I heard it was on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan said the same thing. He's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, come on. It's a poor man's elk. That motherfucker, it's a goddamn bird.
Yeah.
People are turkey crazy though.
Yeah, they are.
People are hooked on them
The
things.
poor man's elk is a sick deer. That's a poor man's elk.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's as close to an elk as you can get here in Elkton, or Jesus Christ, in Maryland.
But yeah, people are turkey crazy. People go to every state to kill one. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, hey, that's what you're into, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. I can't get real excited about them. Nothing like deer.
No.
You know, like when deer season rolls around, opening day is like Christmas for us. You know what I mean? Like turkey, it's like, oh yeah, cool, I'll go. You know. Yeah. So
if I don't get one, I don't get one.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet there's such like if you're good at turkey hunting, it's probably like it's what gets you into it. Like if you're a really good caller and you know how to get them to move, and it's probably very exciting to feel like you're in more control of your outcome rather than whitetail, which you really just have to hope they come by. Unless it's the rut and you're hitting like a grunt tube or something. It's you know, you see a deer 50 yards out. The only thing you can really do is make them go further away rather than come to you.
Did you guys see that article? I think it was on Trophy Line, where that dude killed like several deer over 8 years old on public land in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, he sent it to us. I didn't really read it because it was long as fuck and I can't read. So
yeah, it's tough. It's like, baby, can you read this to me? She probably gets tired of that.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, especially in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, dude, on public land, that's fucking hard to do.
Yeah.
But that guy was, in the article, he was big on calling. He would work that grunt tube.
Year round? Season round?
Yeah, it didn't say, but the way he was talking about it, it seemed like that was a very common thing to do. And he said he would use it like going into the woods.
Huh.
Almost like yeah, I've heard of using a turkey call, which I've done that too. Like going in the woods just to kind of like cover up the noise you make. But he uses it like walking into the woods, like he'll hit a couple grunts when he's going to a stand and shit.
I've never even thought about doing that. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, dude. On some of those like cold, like winter months where there's no leaves on the trees, but they're all on the fucking ground, and you walk in, it sounds so fucking loud,
God,
man.
yeah.
Like there's those days where it's just like everything hears me right now.
I wish I was David Blaine and could just levitate to my stand.
Oh my god, I've fantasized about that. Like it's tough sometimes, especially when it gets cold and those leaves on the ground. Like early season, man, you can you can move pretty silently, and you've just got all this insulation, all this cover. Like late season, it becomes a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
Sound travels so much further.
Yep, in the cold it does. Yeah.
Now, do you guys change your strategy at all when you know there's a lot of leaves on the ground compared to not? Like, I feel like I try to get in significantly earlier to let the woods calm down a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that and like I'll even, I mean, I'll change a lot of things, but I'll even like avoid the longer hikes in because I feel like you're just blowing shit up walking on cornflakes in there. Yep. So like I'll try to hunt areas that are a little easier to access, especially if there's like no wind. I mean, and it's quiet out there, you know. Yeah. So I'll even change it up as to like where I hunt because of that.
Yeah. Speaking of this guy on public land, I was telling you guys, I really want to go just nuts deep into some public land this season.
Just balls deep on public.
Deep. Yeah.
I like that.
Because I feel like the past couple seasons, I've just been hunting the same exact tree, and it's getting boring.
Your honey hole's getting clapped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've killed a lot of deer, killed my biggest buck ever, but it's just, I'm doing the same thing, and I feel like I'm getting stagnant as a deer hunter.
Ready for a new challenge.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's something we should do this year is try to challenge ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like, I think we should come up with like challenges, if you will. I'll give you 3. Like, this year you gotta double up. You've got to kill a buck on public, and you got to kill, I don't know, but like something like that, like a doe on public as well. Like, just to try something different, to do something that you haven't done as a hunter. Like, I'd really like to kill another buck on public land. Like, that's fucking, especially one that you want to put on your wall. You know, it's an achievement. You know.
Yeah, it's doable. I've been watching this guy Dan in Flat or in Fault. Have you heard of him?
Dan in Fault?
Yeah. The big buck serial killer. He only hunts public land up in Wisconsin, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
But he says he travels the entire state during before the season starts, just searching for that public land buck. I think that's a good idea. I'd like to do that. Like June, July, go to like different public lands, maybe glass, and see if you can find a buck and zero in on that motherfucker and move in and shoot that sumbitch.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I did that at Fair Hill. And it was fucking awesome. I wanted to, I got close to him, not close enough, but I think it's a lot of fun to do that too. Like, I mean, because you got so many different options. I think Fair Hill's a great place to hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks with public land, like especially in Cecil County, because we get a good bit of pressure here, that you have to fight with other hunters. But you can also use that to your advantage, and understand what the pressure and how that affects the deer, and then use that as a tool, as a way of accessing these deer. Because you can. I mean, they're fucking deer. It's not like they're goddamn humans. They respond to pressure in the exact way you think they would. Where people go, they don't. You know what I mean? So going to places where most people can't hunt, which is what's great about a saddle, is you can get into places that other people can't. You can climb trees that other people can't. You can hike further in. You know, it's because it's such a light setup. So that's a huge benefit of public land too.
Get in close to those bedding areas where it's real thick.
Yeah,
that saddle.
Thick.
That you can't with the fucking climber.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like, Brian and I were talking about this yesterday. The saddle is the ultimate hunting method. It is for eastern hunting, for climbing a tree. The saddle is the ultimate way to hunt. It really is. And we used climbers for years, and I love climbers. Don't get me wrong; they're fucking great. But, dude, the saddle gives you so much more options as far as that, like trees you can climb and mobility. Like it's no factor. Like you can wear your saddle and like Ryan's method of 4 sticks or ours with the 1 stick and hike in, and it is so much easier. I mean, you can go a lot further. You can climb a lot better trees. It's just, and not only that, but the shot angles I prefer. And then Ryan, you were talking about that.
So much more natural.
It absolutely is, and you're almost always just like in that ready position in a saddle. But I will say, shooting to your weak side in a saddle
very hard.
Is hard. It's harder than a climber, I think.
But you have to have the right. Like I noticed a big difference when I got a new platform. Like I had the XOP that came with my setup, and that thing I couldn't put side pressure on it.
Yeah.
It would like come off the tree.
No.
But I got the Cruiser. I don't know what the hell it is. The
Mini Seeker?
Mini Seeker. I got the Mini Seeker, so it's like 3 pounds. But that thing digs.
Yeah.
And I can literally be completely loaded on one side. So that helps a lot with those weak side shots.
Yes.
But man, it's a lot trying to get that bow like over your tether, and then getting into that shooting range. So
yeah. Now you can always get like a side step, like you see guys do that and stuff. But I agree 100% with the new one stick. I can side load that motherfucker so well. Like I can literally put my foot on the side of that and jump. Yeah. And it doesn't move. It doesn't fucking budge.
Huge difference.
Yeah, I was out here in the front yard on that tree right there, just jumping on the side, putting side pressure on that one stick. My neighbor's looking at me like I'm a fucking crazy person, but it didn't budge.
Hell yeah.
I'm like just jumping on this thing that's stuck to the side of the tree.
Yeah, the neighbor's like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
With saddle hunting, though, I mean, it's definitely the way to go for bow hunting. But the problem I think that turns a lot of people off is there's an incredibly high barrier of entry compared to climber. Like you can get someone that's just starting to hunt, you can get them a climber, and within a couple hours, they're going to be proficient enough to go up in the tree.
Yeah.
With the saddle, there is, even if it's lighter, there's a lot more moving parts and like a lot of things to get used to. So like the sticks, like for me, it's like having 4 individual sticks rather than just attaching the feet and then the top of the climber. It adds, and then putting your aider on, like the whole process. There's a lot more moving parts. It's not as you can get it up the tree quick, but then being able to adjust your tether and being able to adjust your bridge and all those things, like it takes a lot of time. But once you get it, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a huge learning curve.
Yeah.
But initially, when I first started using the one stick, like I was slower than my climber for sure, and less proficient. But as I got the hang of it, I think now I can probably climb a tree faster with my one stick than I can with a fucking climber.
I would agree with that.
And I feel so much safer in my saddle.
Yeah.
Like on my climber, like I used it like one hunt in like December, and I was like, what the? Like it feels so unsafe. You're like, how the hell? Like you're like, because you have your harness, you're like hanging off the part of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, how the hell did I use it? Like, is this like dug into the tree? Like I feel so much safer with my saddle.
A saddle is probably the safest way to hunt. I mean, you're always tied off. You know what I mean? That's kind of the essence of the saddle. Is you're relying on it to hang in the tree. So you're 100% tied off all the time, and that's like a thing in industry. Like 100% tied off is a slogan that they use in construction and like refineries, and that's like a term, 100% tied off. And what that means is that whether you're moving from one place to the next or whatever, you're tying off to something else before you untie from one thing. So you're tied off all the time. And the saddle you're 100% tied off, unless of course you're going around a limb and you decide not to. But like it is, like if I put my son in a tree, I think the saddle would be the safest way for him to hunt. You know what I mean? Like I'd be fine with him using a climber. It's not that they're not safe, but a saddle I would feel more comfortable with my son or my daughter in a saddle than I would putting them in a climber. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's the safest way for them to hunt, for anybody to hunt.
Yeah. I mean, I've been just burning my phone to the ground looking at saddle stuff over the past couple of weeks. And of course I Googled, like saddle accidents. You just can't fucking find them.
Yeah.
They're not there.
Yeah.
As opposed to tree stand accidents.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was that one guy last year that
hung upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd seen that story, and he had some underlying health issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, because a squirrel hunter walked up on him, and the squirrel hunter said he was upright, sitting in his saddle in the tree, like screaming, and then passed out and got flipped upside down. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I just scream in my saddle, too.
God damn it. That's what he was doing. He was out practicing before season.
Huh.
Yeah, so.
What a way to go.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there, but.
Yeah, I feel, even if I got turned upside down, like I feel confident that I could right myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. think a lot of that is, I hate to say it, I mean, about the guy that's dead, but he was probably out of shape.
I think it said he was 5'7", like 280.
Okay. Yeah. That's tough. Yeah. So for a guy that's in that kind of shape to be able to do a hanging sit-up is probably out of the question.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was looking at this fucking. I read this article. We'll go with this first. I got two things I wanted to mention, but Chinese scientists grow mini antlers on mice using stem cells from sika deer.
Oh, China.
The researchers say their findings could lead to new treatments for bone injuries and might even give rise to clinical limb regeneration.
Yo.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. There's this article. There's like pictures of these little mice, and they've got like these growths coming out of their fucking head. Because antlers are like the fastest growing organic material, like the fastest growing bone. Like some elk antlers can grow an inch in like something like 5 hours or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, so like in theory, their idea is they using the stem cells from that to potentially like regrow a fucking limb. You know what I mean? Which I thought that was really, really cool. I thought it was also cool they were doing it with sika deer.
Yeah.
You know? The fucking Chinese, man. God damn it. You can't leave shit alone. You guys didn't fuck enough up for us.
Yeah, you know, your one lab over there didn't leak something. I mean, what are we doing?
Yeah. But I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
I also, another article that I read was talking about Sunday deer hunting in some counties of Maryland. Did you guys see that?
I read into a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, and now it will directly affect Ryan.
Directly affect me. I think it'd be... I don't understand why they don't do it.
I don't either. I think, like, it's fucking archaic. Like, fucking give us a Sunday. And so the equestrian community is pushing back against it and saying, like, oh, they've got 6 other days a week, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand what... If you want to run your horses out on a Sunday, that's fine. I'm not going to fucking shoot your horse.
Yeah, that's their whole mindset is they think they're going to get fucking shot. What?
Who's going to shoot a fucking horse?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Now I know there's dumb people out there that shoot fucking people.
Yeah.
But I think it's absurd. And like, okay, yeah, you got 6 other days to hunt, but honestly, you're working during the fucking week. So really, you only got one day.
If you work a 9 to 5, you got one day.
Yeah.
And if you got family obligations, like, oh, this is my only day off. Like, come on.
Yeah, it cuts the season in half for a lot of guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say most people, Saturday's like your only day to hunt, especially hunt in the morning. So Sunday's a big day, man. Like, that fucking matters. It's a huge difference.
It's huge.
And like for me, and for like people who are not local to say like go down and hunt sika deer on a Sunday, if Sundays were huntable, it would make me have a lot better access because I could drive down on a Saturday and then I could hunt Saturday night, Sunday morning, and drive home, as opposed to drive down on a Saturday and hunting Saturday night, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it gives you a lot more opportunity.
Yep.
And particularly, like some of these properties, if the equestrian community is so fucking concerned about Sunday hunting, on the properties where there's horses, just don't have them have Sunday hunting. There's all these other properties, like especially sika deer hunting down in Dorchester County. Nobody's fucking riding a horse in the marsh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's no effect to them.
Yeah.
They're just dickheads.
I think it's dumb that they lump all public lands together. Like, I can see Fair Hill or Elk Neck. Like, yeah, have Sunday where people want to go in the woods and do whatever. Like, that's fine. Don't have hunting there. But, like, some of these properties that I hunt down the Lower Eastern Shore, no one's hiking them. No one is. They're made for hunting. Like, you can't ride a horse in there. And this isn't even a sika property. It's just the way the lower shore is. Like, it's not... People aren't taking their families there.
No.
So, but like Pocomoke River State Park. Yeah, I could see, hey, on Sunday, you can't hunt Sunday. But there's all this other public land.
Yeah.
It's just, like, being able to differentiate. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I think as a law, it should not exist.
Yeah.
I think it should be property-to-property basis. And those properties that there are, equestrian activities, fine, but as a law, it should not. We shouldn't have a Sunday hunting ban. It's just absurd.
No.
Ridiculous.
What is the basis? Like, I understand it's a blue law, so it comes from, like, religious background.
Yeah. Sunday hunting was originally not a thing because of, like, the Sabbath.
Day of rest,
in
right?
Christianity, yeah. So, like, they're observing the Sabbath, you can't hunt. But that's kind of like, archaic, or for lack of a better term. It's just, come on.
These motherfuckers get 9 months to rest, okay?
Yeah, they get plenty of time.
What I don't get, too, is there's such a deer overpopulation in the lower shore that, like, all these car accidents with deer, and, like, they want to get rid of them, and, like, why don't you open up that additional day for hunting?
Yeah.
If you want population management. And plus, like, yeah, I do like less pressured public land, obviously, just like anyone does. But at the same time, like, having more hunters is a good thing.
Yeah.
And, like, being able to increase opportunities for other people to get out and enjoy the woods and put organic food, free-range meat on the table for your family. Like, I want other people to be able to experience that.
Yeah.
I think that's the coolest part about hunting. I think my brother, when I took him hunting, he loved coming home. And, like, it's something about, to see a deer that you watched walk, you made it take its last breath, and then you're able to harvest that meat. Like, that moment where you have that food on your plate, it's like, it's surreal your first time. And, like the more opportunity we can get people to, like, be able to experience that, I'm all for it.
Yeah. That feeling, the first time you make a meal out of an animal that you killed, that's an incredible thing. Like,
it's almost better than when you shoot it.
Yeah, like it is a lot of the reason behind why we do it. You know what I mean? We love it for a lot of reasons, but when you harvest an animal and you bring that thing to the table and, like, you're feeding yourself, your kids, whatever with it, like, that feeling is incredible. And, like, sometimes, like, I feel like, I've killed so many deer that I kind of forget about that sometimes. Yeah. You know what I mean? I kind of take it for granted as to, like, looking back on, like, my first deer. Biting into that thing was a true, like, experience. You know what I mean? Like, it was a special thing. And again, for my son, like, his first deer, you know what I mean? Hunting or cooking it, and, like, we ate the heart, we cooked it up together. Like, that's a beautiful thing, man. And you can't get that going to the grocery store.
No,
you know what I mean? It's a relationship with your food that is unrivaled. There's nothing like that. It gives you such an appreciation for it. Like, I'm not. You go to a fucking restaurant and the dumpster's full of fucking half-eaten steaks. You know what I mean? Like, you don't do that with your deer meat. You know what I mean?
Krista notices, like, if I'm cooking deer meat, and she has a habit of, whenever the food's ready and hot, she's got something to do. She's got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, are you
sounds like you're a little irritated by this, man.
I do get irritated. She knows it drives me nuts. And because I hate my food getting cold, especially, like, I get really irritable when it comes to venison because I put so much higher, like, regard for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I overcook it or it gets cold, I feel like I did that animal disservice, and it really agitates me.
But, Sam won't even cook my deer steaks or backstraps because if she fucks them up.
But there's something about being able to take ownership over your food that unless you hunt, you don't get to do that. It's almost like you go to the store and you see pork chops. You're like, well, the pig's dead anyway.
Yeah.
When it's like, if a deer comes or any prey animal, you're making a conscious decision to end that animal's life and to feed your family. And there's just something that goes along with that. And I think I don't think hunting's for everybody. But I think everybody should at least experience that so that they know, like, how life works.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a level of appreciation for your food. And like you said, hunting's not for everybody. You know what I mean? It's just not going to be. And I think some form of hunting could be for just about anybody. Like, maybe you don't like deer, but you could like duck, you could like turkey, you know what I mean? Like, I think there's something for everybody. I do. But, like, it's not realistic. Like, everybody can't hunt, you know what I mean? Like, and it'll never be that way. But those of us that do, it's like we have our own little secret that is like this just beautiful relationship with our food that you don't get going to the grocery store or a restaurant or anything like that.
If you could bottle it and sell it, you'd be a trillionaire.
Yeah,
that feeling.
Like, I'm trying to get Krista, my wife, to come out and hunt this year. I just wanted to do a rifle hunt, and I told her, I was like, I'm not doing it because I want you to hunt. Like, it's just, I know her, it's not for her.
Yeah.
But she's the kind of person where, like, when an animal dies on a TV show, like, she cries.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I think you should come. I was like, I think you should come out, and I think you should just shoot one deer.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I think it's going to be an emotional moment for you. I think it's going to be very hard. You're going to cry. But I think that you would get a lot of growth out of that. And just knowing that connection just one time, I think would be a really powerful moment for her.
Just make sure she doesn't turn the gun on herself after she shoots that animal.
I agree with you. I think like it would help her to understand like what you do too. You know what I mean? Like, and understand why you're so passionate about it. You know what I mean? To have her be in that situation. You know, there's nothing like a first kill with the first time you kill something that you're gonna bring home and cook. Like, I got to experience that with you. I got to experience that with my son. And, like, dude, like, especially with my son, that was just, like, it was so powerful. Like, it is such a powerful experience when you take an animal's life, and it's just, it's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think everyone can benefit from that experience. And unless you're a fucking psychopath, you're going to have such an appreciation for that animal in a way that people who don't hunt never will.
Yep.
I would agree.
People that go to the frozen meat section don't have a connection with the hamburger they just put in their shopping cart.
No, it's like, you know, you go grocery shopping, you don't like it's like a mindless task.
Yep.
It's just something you do, you know what I mean? Like, when you hunt, like, it is so much more than that. But it is grocery shopping in a essence, you know what I mean? But it's just it's powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I have friends, and I know this probably irritates you guys too. I have friends that are vegetarians. I have friends that are vegans.
I don't have those people in my life.
Fuck them.
I do, and I'm like, teach their own. I totally get it. Like, I don't like people pushing their values. Like, just like I'm not like pushing hunting on them.
Right.
But is it anything? I don't think anything drives me more crazy than when someone is anti-hunting but they eat meat.
Ugh.
Oh, get fucked.
It's just like I feel like it's like I'm all right. You're ignorant. Like,
yes.
Like, you're just oblivious.
You're just an unintelligent individual, and a closed-minded individual is what you are. It's like,
yeah, I got in trouble with one of Krista's friends. We were hanging out, and I just met the dude, and he was telling me that, and I was like, you're fucking an idiot. Like,
yes.
Pretty much, and like I told him that, and Krista was like, oh man, she was mad at me for like a week. She was like, why would you say that? I'm like, are you kidding me?
he's fucking an idiot.
He's telling me hunting's stupid, but he's eating a friggin' hamburger.
Yeah, like you're like the king of the fucking castle, and you want other people to do your bidding for you. You kill the animal, and I eat it. Fuck you.
Really.
Right. And my hands aren't bloody. Like, get fucked, dude.
Yeah, really.
How do you think that fucking burger got on your plate, dude? You know what I mean?
People that are just oblivious.
Yeah, and the way that animal died is way worse than any deer. You know what I mean? That lived a natural life in its natural habitat. These motherfuckers are in a line walking up to get a fucking bolt put in their head.
Yeah.
You know,
Walking in their own shit for their whole life.
Yeah.
That deer lived a wild and free life, and just so happened to catch an arrow to the ribcage.
Yeah, like people that don't hunt think that deer die in the woods surrounded by their loved ones and have a wake. It's like, no,
say Bambi.
A well-placed arrow is about as merciful of a death as you will ever receive.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like I'll tell Chris, I'm like, yeah, deer are so overpopulated. If you don't hunt them, there's no real predators because there's not a lot of coyotes down there. Like, it's gonna starve to death, or it's gonna get disease and die,
or get hit by a car.
Grandma's Buick.
Yeah. Yep.
And then sometimes they don't die, and they limp around for days and days and days and days.
Yeah. So there's nothing unmerciful about hunting. It is a better way for an animal to die, but also it's necessary for their population. Like, we've been bow hunting for at least 70,000 years. Okay, like, it is part of, we like sometimes forget, like, we're part of this fucking ecosystem. We are on the food chain. Like, this is part of Earth. That's the way it's been for a long fucking time. And if you can't see that, and especially like if you eat meat and you fucking have a problem with hunting, you're just a fucking moron. Like, it's not even like a moral thing. Like, you're just an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 100%. But like you said, it's not for everybody. I don't think everybody can do it. I got a shooter pass for you. Homemade targets, Johnny. What do you think?
Pass.
Yeah, how come?
I don't know. Never attempted it.
I made one time.
Just close, right?
Yeah, and it actually worked pretty well. I made it for Wyatt. I used a burlap sack that I bought corn.
Oh yeah.
And I just stuffed that thing, packed it in, just filled it up with old jeans and shirts and stuff, and it worked pretty well. I don't think they're great for a long-term thing, but it's definitely doable. Speaking of targets, that Sever target, and Sever, SEVR, it's they make broadheads, but they make targets too. And I bought that target, I don't know, 2 months ago or so, and I've gotten some use out of it, and I'm gonna give it 5 stars. If you're looking for a target, that's probably the best target I've ever bought.
Hell yeah.
And it's relatively affordable. I think it was under $200, and it's about the size of a hay bale. Maybe a little smaller than a hay bale. It's a pretty big target.
It's sturdy.
Yeah.
Stout.
It's heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not easy to pull arrows out of.
No.
But it comes with an arrow puller. It comes with some little pins. That target is money. I would 100% buy that thing again. I think that's something Ryan and I were talking about yesterday. Is an off season. I think now is a great time to really focus on the archery aspect of hunting. And we do it a lot for the tack, you know what I mean? So we're practicing long-range shots, and having a good quality target goes a long fucking way.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But what I think is everyone, I'm not saying you're going to shoot a deer at 80 yards, 70, 80, 90 yards, but I think everyone should shoot 70, 80, 90 yards.
It'll make you better at 40, 30, 40.
Because, most of the time, you make a bad shot on an animal, it's because of nerves. And it's an intense moment. You know what I mean? You get that animal in front of you, it all happens so fast, and you're trying to make a good shot, and you fucking you punch the trigger and you make a bad shot.
Yeah, you just want that arrow to leave the bow and just find that it's marked, that you just yeah.
And it's so common. Yeah. But that happens, and it's almost like it's not necessarily your archery, because it's a lot of nerves. But if you're used to shooting 80, 90, 100 yards and consistently, then if you do get all emotional and fucking out of whack at 20 yards, it's such a chip shot that you should be able to still execute and make a good shot.
Yeah.
I think there's a tremendous amount of value to long range shooting. And there's an aspect that up close and just focusing on what's behind their eyes or executing a good shot. I think that's really important too. Shooting, just focusing on that. But I think we'd be remiss to not give there's so much value in shooting out far like that. I think everybody should do it, whether you plan to hunt the tack or shoot the tack, hunt the tack, plan to shoot the tack or anything. I think just for your hunting, to make it so much easier on you to ensure you make good shots on animals, long range shooting is so beneficial. It goes a long fucking way.
Yeah, it definitely helps just to practice, period, so you get that muscle memory going. Because a lot of times when you are at full draw and you are aiming at an animal, you just forget what the hell just happened after you let that arrow fly.
Yeah.
So if you have that muscle memory, it definitely helps a lot.
Yeah. It's like tying your shoes, you know what I mean? When you first start to tie your shoes, you got to think about it, loop, swoop, But after so long, it's a mindless task because it's just such muscle memory. You've done it so many times, and you can do that with anything. And archery can be that way too. Do you guys have something you say in your head every time you hunt? We've mentioned it before, but every time I draw my bow, literally every time, I say the same thing in my head, and I'll repeat that every single time I hunt. And when I shoot in the backyard too.
I don't.
No?
No, my brain is just blank when I'm shooting.
Yeah.
A lot of the times.
I can see that. Yeah.
Just see it in my eyes.
Just that blank stare.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so focused on that anchor and that pin where I want it that I'm just there's nothing else to think about. But maybe if I did have a motto in my brain, maybe I could.
Like a mantra.
Yeah, a mantra. Maybe I could focus more. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it.
Yeah, I think you should. I find it's helped my archery, definitely. I like it. And what it does is it helps you not to punch the trigger, and it helps you to trust the float, like, because you're almost taking your mind off of like what you're doing and just letting your body do its job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going through the motions, but you're not letting your mind get wrapped up in where that pin is sitting.
Yeah, I've been shooting a lot down here in the basement because we've had just days on days of 90-mile-an-hour winds outside.
Yeah.
So I've definitely been focusing on behind the riser, and I think I've just been telling myself to relax, because I feel like I've been so tense in the past couple months shooting my bow.
Yeah.
So,
do you, Ryan? Do you say anything when you shoot, or?
I have like reminders to myself of like setting my anchor points and then getting like the bubble right, and then outside of that I really don't, but it's more of like, for me, it's just kind of remember the big things so I can be as consistent with every shot.
you have like a step.
Yeah, like
a list of things.
I'll go like push, pull, anchor, level, and then in my head I guess I have something, I'll be like trust the float. Like I'll be like center, get the pin where I want it, and then trust the float, and then slowly squeeze.
I'm kind of with Ryan on that. I just have like a list of things.
Yeah. So in a way, you guys do too.
Yeah, because I just want to make my shot process as consistent as possible. So that way, like, I feel like if you get tired or whatever, like even like a big moment when there's a deer coming in, I want to make sure like I'm anchoring and I'm making sure like I'm getting my bow right the way I practice.
Yeah.
In that moment, because I'll notice like when I first started, like I'd get a deer in range and my anchor points would be so thrown off because like I'm in a tree stand and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it helps me like remind myself like, okay, this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm not the greatest archer, but if I get a deer within 30 yards, I should be able to kill that deer.
It's getting gut shot.
Yeah, every single time if I am patient and stick to my processes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, like, we shoot enough to be like, there's no reason we should ever miss at 30 yards. It's just not. But we still do.
And when you got a critter at 30 yards, it looks like a long way.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
30 yards is not a chip shot.
No.
You know what I mean? Regardless of, like, and with an animal, it's obviously, it is different. The animals, a lot of the time, they will duck. They're going to drop. Do you hold low intentionally?
Yes.
When you shoot a deer?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, will that change situationally?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if a deer's really on edge, I aim a little lower than normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if that deer's, if it got winded and the doe's fucking, like, she knows something up, like, I'll aim a little lower than I normally would, especially if they're further. If it's like a 30-yard shot, I'm aiming at the fucking armpit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm always aiming at the heart.
Yeah.
And if they duck, at least you're double lunging them.
Exactly.
And if they don't duck, heart shot.
Yeah. So, because they almost always duck a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to hear the sound of that arrow.
Especially over a fucking corn pile.
Oh, man.
They are hitting the fucking ground.
Yeah. They did like a study on that. Somebody did a study on it. It was something crazy. I think it was like typically from 30 yards they drop like 4 inches or something like that. But before the arrow gets there, like if that deer drops, like that's pretty standard to drop that much. Which is 4 inches is a big difference. I mean that's a lot. I've been trying to tell my old lady that. And I think aiming low is pretty much like my standard practice. But
always.
When I shoot, I say the same thing in my head every time. And what got me doing that was when I dry fired my bow. That's when I started that. So like before then, I didn't really have like a shot process. I just kind of drew my bow and I dry fired that motherfucker. And that was when like I'm every single time I'm making sure I got a fucking arrow in there. And so I developed that shot process. And then from that, I started to really like it. You know what I mean? So like for me, what I do is I say arrow knocked, rest up. Because I got a drop away rest. Mm-hmm. So arrow knocked, rest up. And I say that every time before I draw. And then when I draw, I start quoting, there's a scripture, it's called Psalm 91. And it's a long scripture, but I memorized it. So it would take me like a minute to quote the whole thing. So like even if I draw and I'm holding it on an animal, that will give me enough time to like to where I'm not gonna finish it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like before I make a shot. And it's just every time I do it. And when I release is different every time, like how far I get into it. But in my head, that's what's going on every single time I shoot.
Now, you're a hinge guy. Are you focusing on rolling that hinge, or is it just muscle memory at this point?
No, it's sometimes I am like aware of how much tension I'm putting on it and how I'm rotating it. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, it's just kind of like it just happens.
Okay.
But when you first start shooting them, it's definitely you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
But unless I'm like switching releases because I have several releases, or I just adjusted the sensitivity of it, I don't think about it.
Okay.
I just do it. It's just part of the process. And when you draw, I try to keep constant pressure. So like when you draw your bow with that hinge, I'm from the time I draw to the time I anchor, I'm slowly I start rotating immediately. Like it's like a smooth. It's not like I draw and stop and find my target and go. I'm like constantly pulling into it. Like as I'm acquiring my target and everything. Like it's a steady movement.
Maybe that was my issue with the hinge, because I would draw, stop, find the target, then start rolling into it, and then I'm just panicked waiting for that thing to go off the whole time.
For me, like obviously, I try to put when I draw, I try to make it to where by the time I get anchored, my target's like right around my pin. You know what I mean? And I find my target and put it where it is. But that whole time, I'm like constantly pulling, like following through with that shot. Yeah.
Now your release is a thumb button and a hinge.
Yeah, I have a True Ball Goat.
Now that you're in the off season, are you using is as a hinge?
No. Which, like, that was my plan, but I have that thumb button, and then I have another hinge. It's a Carter Honey, and I'll shoot that. Rather than switch that back and forth, that Carter Honey is very similar in the hand, so I just been that way. I can instantly transfer. Like I'll wear my fanny pack out there. You know what I mean? That thing fucks. I'll wear my fanny pack, and I'll have both releases in there, and I'll shoot one group of arrows with the thumb button, and then next I might do the hinge. I might do one arrow with the hinge, one arrow with the thumb button, but I'll switch it up, and I like to be able to do it instantly. As to like with the Goat, you have to get an Allen key and tinker with it in order to switch back and forth, and I like the speed of just having two releases.
Yeah, I've been practicing down here with my thumb and my wristy, but I've found that my thumb button hits more left and right just because the anchor point's different.
Yep.
So I just want to stick to my wristy.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Ryan, you were saying that to me yesterday. You don't like the thumb button, huh?
I don't. I think it's just the thumb button I'm using. Like it was like $100, which is pretty cheap for a release thumb button. But it's got a lot of travel to it. So I've noticed that even if I make it like as sensitive as possible, I get like a little bit of like target panic, like kind of like you were saying, like waiting for it to go off. I'm like, when's it gonna go? When's it gonna go? When's it gonna go? And I can cause it to like pull on my bow. And I noticed that with my wrist release, I feel like a lot more in control of my shot process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
You guys are juvenile, That's you guys, you want to use your shoot a wristy?
You want to have target panic forever? Go ahead.
You want to punch trigger? Punch trigger. That's your choice.
I think having a thumb button is really nice if you get a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I imagine yours is so hot that you don't have that issue. To where mine,
motherfucker, sizzling.
Like it just don't feel right.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. A good thumb button, dude, it is a fucking big difference. Like there is a huge difference between a $100 release and a $200 release. Like the quality is like that Goat, that motherfucker is crisp, son. Like, have you guys used my Goat? Have you tried it? You guys gotta shoot that motherfucker. Like, dude, that thing is it's stout. Like that thing is solid in your hand, and the release is so crisp. And talk about travel, zero travel.
Yeah,
and you can adjust that thing like a motherfucker. I've got it hot, but it can be even hotter than I got it. To where like it can be so hot to where you could just barely touch that thing and it'll shoot.
Yikes.
Like barely. Like drop a dollar bill on that motherfucker. It's gonna pull that trigger.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy how hot you can get it. Like I don't have it all the way up. It's because like it's just too fucking
scary.
hot. Yeah. Like
kill your neighbor.
Yeah, like, but I have it hot as fuck. So because I shoot my thumb button like a hinge. So basically, what I do is I draw with my thumb off. Then when I get anchored, I'll put my thumb on there, and as I'm pulling, I'm rotating. So like I'm rotating my hand, and just the rotation of my hand is what actually hits that thumb button. I'm not pushing my thumb at all. Yeah, it's all the rotation. It's all the follow through that actually makes it fire.
I just couldn't get into the whole rotating the hand. I just like to hang my middle finger over the trigger and just kind of
pull,
like use my bring my shoulder blades together, and that's what makes that release go.
Yeah, it's very similar with the thumb. I mean, that's kind of the same thing I'm doing, but the rotation is more like I'm not just like rotating my hand, like I'm pulling through like with my back as I'm rotating. Like I'm rotating, like it's not like I'm going like this.
Yeah,
I'm going like this, like that. It is the back that is pulling it through. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit different of a motion, I guess.
Yeah, maybe I just had my hinge too cold. All that motion I was doing was throwing me off.
Yeah, no, I think that it can be good to practice with it cold to where it requires a lot, because like that will highlight target panic, because like you should be able to move like a motherfucker, and you know you shouldn't start freaking the fuck out. You know what I mean? Because you should be able to it doesn't matter, because you're not anticipating your shot. I think there's benefit to it, but I agree that like to actually shoot like that, like practice, okay, but to shoot like that regularly, no. It's just it's too much movement. You want as a minimum. That's why you want that super hot thumb button, because you want to move as little as possible.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the wristy is just seared into my brain, and I'll never let it go.
Yeah, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Like some people can't read. You know, like there's it's a handicap, but it is what it is. Like if that's what you're used to, you know, don't change it. You know, it works for you. You kill deer. You know,
I killed deer.
Yep. Who won the tack last year?
I did.
Oh,
with a wristy.
Huh. I thought you won it.
I think I won the year before.
Yeah, you won the year before.
Yeah. We're 1-1. This will be our third year going to the tack, so
maybe Runsky will win this year.
Are you still gonna do
that's good.
The same game you guys did last year? Was it kill wounded?
Nah, I don't know. We haven't really talked about
I kind of liked that.
I like that too. I think that's a good scoring system.
Yeah, it's just either 1, -1, or none.
Yeah.
Instead of I got a 10 or would you get an 8?
Yeah, 5. Like it. So what we do at the tack, or what we did last year, the first year we just did like an IBO scoring system. Yeah. You know what I mean? Where we use the actual points on the target. And I think it's like on the target you got an 8, a 10, and a 5 is outside the ring. And we just added the scores up, and that's how we did it. Last year what we did was it was either kill, wound, or miss.
Yeah.
So either you hit it in the vitals, you get 1 point. You hit it outside of the vitals, that's a wounded animal.
0.
You get -1
Oh,
point.
yeah, that's right.
And then obviously if you miss, you get 0.
Yeah.
So it's almost like more like a golf score. You know what I mean? It's ones. So it's a lot less adding and stuff, because once I can't count past 10 unless I take my shoes off. You know what I mean? I got to start using my toes, and it's a lot easier to keep score that way.
It seems like it's a lot more fun too.
Yeah, I like that better, and it's a more like hunting related score system as to like the IBO. Like you get a 5 if you fucking shoot it in the ass. It's like, oh, that's a fucking terrible shot. You shouldn't get any points for that. You should go negative. So I think it's a lot closer to like realistic a hunting scenario with that scoring system that we did.
Fuck yeah.
So yeah, we'll probably do that again. I think I'm good with that. You're not coming, huh?
Not coming.
Piece of shit.
What a loser.
Not coming.
We might try a different one. If we do a different one, you think you would ever go? Yeah. I love the tack, dude. I get excited for it. You know what I mean?
I think it's, and that might be my drawback as a hunter, forever, is that I really enjoy hunting. I really enjoy shooting my bow, but like the pursuit of like true archery, like it's not really my thing. Like I wanna be good at archery to be a proficient hunter, and that's it. So for me, like the tack's cool, but man, for me where I live, it's like a 6-7 hour drive total, and it's like, man,
that is a drive.
I'm like, it's fun, but I'm alright.
Yeah,
it's already 4 hours for us.
Yeah.
+2 for him. Shoo.
Yeah. I think John and I are definitely more into the archery side of the game. You know, like we really. I'm speaking for John here, but I really enjoy the shooting. Like I'm even interested. Like we've talked about even competing, like trying to do like some 3D shoots and stuff. Because to me, I enjoy that shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm all for it. And eventually, maybe we will, maybe we won't. And then we'll probably just keep talking about it.
Just keep bullshitting about
it. I really enjoy just shooting my fucking bow.
Me too.
Like, dude, it is like therapy. Especially like long range shooting, man. I fucking love it.
Just let go of all the baggage for the day and just let that arrow fly.
Yeah,
beautiful thing.
It is, and it's we were talking about that jiu-jitsu yesterday, Ryan. Ryan and I went up to Philly and had some rolls at Gracie Hamada. Shout out! It was a great gym. When you're doing a martial art like jiu-jitsu, while you're sparring, you can't think of anything else. Like your mind is completely present. You're completely in the moment, and it's a beautiful thing. You know, for me, archery is like that too. Like when I'm shooting my bow, like there's nothing else going on in my head. I'm not fucking thinking about, oh, did I fucking leave the stove on, or this bullshit at work, or
the old ladies driving me nuts.
Fucking old ladies. Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah,
my head is purely focused on the task at hand.
You can't be focused on anything else.
No. It takes all of your mental focus on that task, and I think things like that, where you can be 100% present, have a therapeutic kind of effect. Like jiu-jitsu, archery, like those things have a mental health like benefit to them. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking good for you, man. I go out and I shoot my bow, and like it's like fucking group therapy. You know what I mean? I've heard that term, group therapy, and it is. It definitely is. I fucking love it.
I'm gonna go shoot after you guys leave.
We're I know, Ryan, you got to get going. We're a little over an hour in. You guys got anything else you want to mention?
No, I'm good.
Oh yeah. If anybody's in the market for a couple hang-ons or maybe a climber, I'm your guy.
Yeah. John's got some climbers. He's all in on the saddle.
All in. I don't want this fucking metal shit clanging around in my basement. No mo.
Hell yeah.
Come get it.
Probably sit here until fall. Somebody buy it in the fall.
Yeah. Somebody's coming today to get the ladder stand. So.
Oh, really? Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Fuck yeah.
Well, Ryan, we appreciate you coming up, brother.
Yes, sir.
It's always good to have you on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. We will see you next time.
Hey.